What's going on, guys? JPB Duo here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Wednesday. And for today's gameplay, we have a Prank Kids versus a Dragon Lynx, with my opponent playing Dragon Lynx going first. Now, I have been telling you guys about the cons of running the 60 cards deck list over my previous videos, but it does have its pros. A couple of pros is that your opponent cannot grass you. The grass advantage that people generate against 40 cards deck list is pretty insane. Versus the 60 cards, they cannot do that. Another thing is that the 60 cards deck list offers a way better grind game compared to a 40 cards deck list. Even though Miyamu is still at 1, you could still generate enough advantage with the cards that you run in your whole 60 cards deck list. So let's get on with today's replay. My opponent normals out the Black Metal Dragon to link off into the Striker Dragon. He's going to Chain Link 1 to Striker, Chain Link 2 the Black Metal. Is going to resolve, and unfortunately, he gets the Red Eyes Darkness and the Boot Sector launch in the same chain. So if these two were separate chains, I could have Druna Lockbirded him before, but once the chain resolution happens, you cannot interact with it. So now, after he gets the 2-card searches, I can Druna Lockbird him. So obviously, we are going to Druna Lockbird the opponent. He still does the combo, specials out the Baby White, and then goes off into a Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spear, sets down a card, passes his turn over. Now, as a Prank Kids player, we rely extremely heavily on our normal summon. So if our normal summon gets bounced, gets banished, gets destroyed somehow, we cannot go into our combo. That's the worst part about Prank Kids deck that it offers. So, I was thinking, I could go into battle phase, evenly match my opponent, but then again, he's just going to keep the Heretic Seal on the field. He's going to banish the face down card that he has set in the back row. So there's no point in doing that. I decided I'm going to take the bounce. So I activate Prank's Plays to try to bait out an Ash Blossom if the opponent had it, and then search for my Lamseys. I normal out my Lamseys in the hopes that the opponent does not instantly bounce out my Lamseys, thinking that I may have another play in my hand. Unfortunately for us, he just instantly bounces out my Lamsey. So this guy knows what he's doing. And with the Heretic Seal from the graveyard, he's going to put an Absoluter on the field. Now, as I told you guys, Prank is rely heavily on the normal summon. Once the normal summon is gone, we cannot do anything unless we have a way to push past that without normal summoning a card, which I didn't. So I just had to pass my turn over. Opponent's turn, he's going to draw a card, and then he is going to put the Levineer on the field. He's going to link off the Levineer plus the Absoluter on the field to go into Romulus. Romulus Chainlink 1, Absoluter Chainlink 2. So with this Absoluter, he's going to search for the Tracer, and the Romulus will be adding a Dragon Ravine to the opponent's hand. Now, once again, unfortunately for me, he did the whole thing in one single Chainlink, so after he adds those 2 cards, then and only then can I Druna Lockbird my opponent. So obviously, we are going to Druna Lockbird the opponent. It resolves, but once again, unfortunately for us, he had all the cards he required in his hand to go into the Boral End combo. So he's going to activate Boot Sector launch, he's going to put the Tracer, he's going to even special out a Noctovision from his hand. Tracer is going to pop the Boot Sector, pulling out another 2 notes, the Rocket Caliber. Rocket Caliber will tribute itself, Red Eyes Metal Darkness comes in the field, he puts 11-year in the field as well, and then goes off into Dark. Now, one good thing about this is that I did draw into a Nib. So, once I see this setup, I have not shown my opponent I have Nib in my hand. Even after he pushed past 5, I was holding down my right click so that my activation becomes an off. So if you guys don't have the switch and hold option, you guys can switch and hold, but I do have it, so I'm using it right now. So once he did this setup, I'm thinking, yup, this is it. He's going to go off into his Borland, and once the Borland comes, it's going to become a nightmare for us. So I just decided to Nib my opponent right here, right now. Nib resolves. Thankfully, he did not have a crossout, nor did he have a maxi, and the token that he gets comes in the field with 2.4k defense. It is a big boy with 8.85 attack, but 2.4k defense we don't care much about. Our Nib itself can beat over the token. Draw phase, I draw a maxi. I normal out my Lamseys, and my opponent instantly maxis me. That means we cannot go into a combo. I do not want to give my opponent the card advantage because he's down to 1 card only in his hand. He did use up a lot of resources before as well to do his combo. So I just go into battle phase, whack out the Nib token, hit the opponent in the face for 1.5k with Lamseys, and end our turn. I'm thinking I have a maxi of my own, so if the opponent tries to go off into his combo, I'm going to maxi my opponent as well. So once he activates Ravine, he's going to pitch out his cards. He gets the Absolute activation from the graveyard as well, search for the Rocket Synchron. He's going to normal out the Rocket Synchron and try to activate it to special out the Noctovision, to which we're going to chain our maxi. So right here, if he goes into his combo, we are going to be drawing a couple of cards. So he does still go into his combo. He puts a Boral and Savage on the field. So Savage does come with the Omni Negate. He's going to kill off my Prankis monster, obviously, because that is our gateway into our combo starter. And he ends his turn. So draw phase on my turn. I was hoping to draw into a Prankis named monster. Unfortunately, did not draw into it. Ended up drawing into another maxi. So I now have 2 maxis in hand. I hit my opponent with one maxi, which is in the graveyard. So unfortunately for us, we cannot bump over this Boral Savage with our Nib. So what I do is I try to bait out the Omni. I normal out the flag. Flag will activate, search for corridor. It does not take the bait. Does not use the Boral Savage. We set down our evenly match as well, because in case he draws into a monster and he clears out our field, because the Boral Savage can clear out the Nib, and this card is a 1.1k attack, not that hard to beat over for a Dragon Lynx player. So I'm thinking, in case he does have a way to clear out my monsters in the field, I could activate the evenly match on my turn. So Dragon Ravine is going to pitch Imperm, which he drew into, to which I'm just going to maxi my opponent. So in case he decides to even go into his combo, we're going to start drawing cards. So with Dragon Ravine, he's going to get the Absolute activates, searches for the Tracer. He's going to normal out the Tracer, so there it is. He does have a way to beat over both my monsters. So he does kill off both my monsters. Now I had an option over here to activate the evenly match right then and there to make him blow his Omni Negate, but he has once per turn 2 times Omni Negates, right? Because he has 2 counters on the Boral Savage. So I decided I'm going to save my evenly match for my turn and not use it on the opponent's turn in case I draw into a combo starter card. Now even though Boral Savage is just a negate, not a card destruction, we could still chain block our first graveyard activation with our Prankis Place, and Doodle-Doo's effect will be negated. But again, think about this. If this card turns out to be Imperm, that means that he could Imperm my Doodle-Doo, save his Omni for something much worse that I do want to go into. Let's say something like Predaplan Verte, because if the Doodle-Doo gets negated, we need to go through our Predaplan Verte to go into our Butler. So with that, that's the reason why I decided not to evenly match my opponent. With that, the opponent's turn ends, I draw a card. Turns out I do draw into a Prankis combo starter card. So as I said, the situation from before, I go into battle phase, evenly match my opponent, to which he responds with the Omni Negate. So Omni Negate now is out, thankfully for us. Then I go into main phase 2, and we're going to start going into our combo climb. Fansies normal, go off into our Meow move, Fansies activate, we're going to be pitching a copy of Pranks. We're going to chain block our graveyard activation with our Prankis Place. Again, it's a habit. I know he does not have any Omnis on the field, but it's just a habit for me. I'm going to special out a copy of Roxy's. Now there's a reason to special out Roxy's right here, because my hand is pretty dead. I committed my normal summon to the play already. These cards in my hand are just dead cards. So I want to get rid of one of them, so that in that way, if I draw into something much better, I could utilize it instantly. So Roxy's activate, chain block with our Doodly-Doo, and lo and behold, turns out the card face down was Imperm. So you guys need to think ahead in your plays if you want to make plays like these, especially if you're playing Prankis, because Prankis in this meta is not that great. It's not even a tiered deck anymore. So you need to understand what your opponent could have set down, what he could be playing if you do want to win games. So over here, I accidentally banished out my Corridor. Now Corridor cannot target Corridor from the banishment pile to recycle to go into Colossus. It needs something aside from itself. I was supposed to banish Max C from my hand, but again, that was a misclick on my part, but that's okay. We live and learn, we go into our play. We go into our second copy of Doodly-Doo. We're going to activate Drop C's, heal ourselves for 1k. Doodle-Doo activate, tributes itself, target the Pranks plus a copy of Fansies. You could target any card because you're going to pitch the card anyways. So with that, activate Pranks, pitch the Fansies. We're going to get ourselves a token. go off into our Bow Wow Bark. Lamses is going to activate, he's going to burn the opponent for 500, special out a card, and then at the end, we go off into our Predaplan, Verte, Anaconda. Predaplan is going to activate, we're going to put a copy of Thunder Dragon Fusion in the graveyard. Now, right here, the opponent chain-linked his own Tracer to my activation of the Predaplan Verte. Tracer says you could target one card on your side, destroy it, and special summon out a card from the graveyard onto the field. So I decided I am gonna maxi my opponent, and even though it's only one card draw, this one card draw actually ended up winning me the game. So watch what I draw. So we're gonna maxi the opponent. This was an insane top deck, by the way. At this late point in time in this game, in 8 turns, insane top deck. Turns out the card I top deck is Dark Ruler No More. Now, I don't know if you guys understand why I say this card is an insane top deck. So I will show you why. With this, the Predaplan resolves, we go off into our Butler. Now, my whole thing was that even if I use my Butler once, this card still has an Omni. So on the opponent's turn, we could banish out the Miyamu, he's going to negate my first pop, and then I'll have to use my Butler's second pop to pop the opponent's field. But drawing into Dark Ruler No More means that if I activate Dark Ruler No More right now, this Omni negate that he has on the counter on itself is gone. Any time. This card is the counters on it are from its own effect. So if you imprint this card out, all the counters on this card will go away. This card becomes a normal card with no Omni negates. So Dark Ruler No More will get rid of the counter on the card. That means our Butler is now online. We could use our Butler, pop the opponent's field on his draw phase, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. Pop the opponent's field on draw phase, so he cannot even go into the Chaos Dragon. He is down to one card and one card alone, and at this point, he just gives up. He's like, you know what, do your worst. I'm going to sit right here, see if you could kill me next turn. I mean, we already had a way to kill the opponent, so I just go into my corridor, recycle Miyamu, start whacking in the face, and that is GG's. That's it for today's game, guys. If you guys do enjoy this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subbing to my channel for more daily prank video uploads. And if you guys are interested in a live version of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbtool. Link along with my schedule and a link to my Discord will be in the video description stuff for you guys to check out. This is JPBtool signing out for today. I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace!